back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing the fuel system on the Ranger. We're going to be rebuilding everything right from the gas tank all the way to the carburetor. I've got all the parts. We've got new intake boots, fuel strain pickups, carburetor, filters, fuel pump, new fuel lines. We've got it all. So stick around and I'll show you how to easily fix your fuel system and get your Ranger back up and running again. So starting here, this is actually the fuel pickup strainer. Okay, this is in the gas tank and there's a hose connected to it. So this is the fuel strainer pickup, goes in the tank. We've got new fuel filters. The red ones, you don't want the white cap ones. The white ones are for oil, the red ones are for fuel. We've got an aftermarket Mikuni copy. I forget the name of this one, but I've had good luck with these. And I'm also going to be doing a video on the carburetor itself, comparing the Mikuni to the aftermarkets and little tips and tricks when some of these aftermarkets don't work. So we got the carburetor, got a new fuel pump. Again, got this off of Amazon. I've used these ones before. I've had pretty good luck with these ones. You can also get these at O'Reilly's. I'll also put the O'Reilly's part number in the description. They have a fuel pump that works as well. So we got the fuel pump. Of course, a new intake boot, because these always go bad. And this is my favorite fuel line. This is what I use, True Blue fuel line. This is ethanol protected. This stuff works phenomenal. You won't have any more issues of fuel line deteriorating and plugging up your carburetor and stuff. So those are the parts we got. So let's get under the seat and start working on it. All right, now once you get your seat off, get your bed tipped up. You're gonna come in here, and on this cross member, there's 2 1/2-inch bolts. Take those off. This is gonna undo the back side of the airbox. Loosens the airbox back here, and then you're going to come up here, and with a 3/8 and a swivel, get this on, you're going to have 2 bolts here on the front side of the cross member. That undoes the bracket that holds the carb. Alright, now using a flathead, loosen up the clamp where the airbox intake comes into the carburetor. So we can loosen this. And then you can simply slide it off and it pushes right back. Now using a Phillips head, we're going to take this clamp and loosen it. Okay. And now you can grab your carburetor and pop it out of the intake. Just like that. Pull her up and out. And then this, pop your hoses off, which this one's all falling apart. So we're going to replace this. All right, and there we go. On to the next step. Okay, now take your fuel line off, which you can undo it here, or since I'm replacing this hose anyways, we're just gonna cut the fuel line. Oh my god, that is freaking tough. Tough. Oh god, it stinks. Oh god, this, you guys could smell this, the varnish. Ugh. All right, so we cut that off. Then we're gonna take your 4 cover screws off. So we're going to use a pick. I'm going to push this up, hold it, grab the cable, and very carefully just pull it up. Don't lose that. Some of the new carburetors come with this, but make sure you don't lose that. And then it's pretty simple. Just using a wrench or a pair of vice grips, whatever you want to use. Break this free. unscrew this, the cable comes out. And same thing with the choke cable right here. Just grab this, loosen it, loosen this portion of it, unscrew it, and your cables are out. So let's get those off. All right, so now that we got the cables undone, set these to the side. Now using a 6mm, now you can pull your intake manifold off. And these are a common occurrence to go bad. They usually crack down here. And I'll show you all in a minute as soon as I get it off here. But these are very, very common to go bad and cause leaks. It doesn't matter what engine it is, all these do end up going bad over time. And you can probably see the crack right there. So they either crack here and they start sucking in, or actually just along here, this just wears out and it doesn't seal to the head anymore. You can see the corrosion building up. So they'll start sucking air right here at the manifold. So we got that. And then the other thing you want to check while you're in here is this boot. Now these boots are notorious for cracking right along where the clamps are, and this one is. So I'm going to pull this off, and right there, stick my finger right through it. So these boots are also notorious for going bad. I do have one coming. It just has not shown up yet, but it's on its way. So all right, so we got all this off. Now let's get the fuel line and the pump out. All right, now to get the pump off, it's 2 T25s and either a 7/16 or an 11mm nut on the back side. So just put your wrench on the nut. There's one. And there's two. Now our pump is loose. There's going to be 2 wires just right here. Just disconnect the 2 wires. Okay, now over here, pretend there's a fuel tank in the machine here. This is going to be in the top of the tank. Okay, so this rubber piece right here just pops out of the tank. You just pop out, and there's going to be a long tube on this with that little strainer thing on the end. Now, as you can see, this one has completely rotted away, and this is a very common occurrence on these older Rangers. People have a no-start condition, and they won't have any fuel going to the carburetor, so they'll think, oh, it needs a pump, so they'll put a pump in it, or they'll put a carburetor in. They'll do all this stuff and not realize they'll have a full tank of gas. Well, this tube has rotted off. So this is just sitting here and it's not picking up any fuel. Very, very common issue as these machines get older. So now we got our pump out, and basically we just pull the hose through. And there we have our old system. All right. So we got our busted carb, our busted intake, pump that's not working, and our really nasty line. Now, even if your pump is working, I recommend changing it. They're cheap enough, because if you got these lines are deteriorating, you've got corrosion, it's in that pump. So it's not worth messing with it. So the easiest thing to do is just copy what you have here on the floor with all your new components. You can make it all brand new. So I'm going to do that. But I just want to show you on the carburetor here, one of the things you're going to want to do is, using a Phillips head, take these 2 screws out, because you need to reuse this bracket for your new carburetor. And this is how I take them out. I don't mess around with trying to get them off here, because these rubbers tend to break at times. So make sure you take these 2 screws out, because you're going to reuse this bracket. So with the aid of movie magic, we're going to go from this to this. And there we go. Our whole fuel system is redone. All I did was just copy what was there. Now, as you can see, we've got our pump, our fuel filter. Here's our elbow that goes into our gas tank. And this is the pipe I was telling you about that goes down. So we got it all set. So now we just put it back into the Ranger. All right, so we've got the intake boot reinstalled, and we've got the fuel pump and fuel line pushed back in. Now, one of the things I wasn't thinking earlier, you don't have to take this protective hose out. You can actually just leave it in there and just push your new fuel line through it. I don't know what I was thinking, but you don't have to take this off. So you just push your new fuel line through like that. Now, before we put the carburetor on, let's talk about the choke cable. Now, when you get your new carburetor, these always have to get changed because this thread is usually never the same. So it comes with new pieces, okay? And it's pretty simple. You just break your lock nut here free, okay? Now, what I do is you grab your spring, okay? Pull your spring back. Then you can slide this guy off. Okay, that's your plunger. Now you can pull your spring out. Just break this nut free. You don't have to turn it a bunch back. Now just twist this off. And now put your new ones on. So there's the one that came with the carburetor. And we're going to put that one on. Just like that. Now the other thing is too is this length here might be different. Okay, so the new carb comes with two of these. One's got a different length shaft, so this is the one that's closest to what's on our machine. Then you're going to take your spring and put your spring in. Grab your new plunger, and same thing, just kind of sometimes pushing on the choke cable helps, but you just push the spring on, push the spring down, take this little guy, slide it over, let your spring up, and it sits in there. Then just butt your lock nut up. So now you're pretty close, so when it comes time to adjust everything, this is free to allow you to adjust. So that's that, and make sure it works. Works good. So now this just goes back into the carb. Just stick it back in the carburetor and tighten it down, which I do once I get the carb in. So let me get the carburetor put back in, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, now just want to show you all a trick here. What I do when putting the throttle cable back in, screw it all the way down, and then grab your cable here. All right, grab your cable, take your little retainer and put your retainer in. Okay, just like that. Now, down here is the hole. So you're going to push the retainer into the hole. Now, it's not going to go in all the way because the cable. So what I do now is I kind of push it up with my finger, open the throttle up. That's going to give you slack in the cable. And then using a peck, I'm just going to, it's a little delicate. There we go. Get it around, it goes back in, the retainer slides all the way in, and there you go. All right, that's working. And now the choke cable, just as I described earlier, I'm just gonna push it in. You're gonna feel it bottom out, which is good. And then let's twist it down. Okay, lock it down. And put your cover on here. Your carburetor is going to have this port here, okay? Make sure it's capped off. This is if this carb was being used on an ATV with the vacuum pump. So this is the vacuum source for that pump. So you want to keep that capped off. You don't need this. If this is open, the carburetor won't run right. It's also going to come with plugs on these. Make sure you pull both of those plugs off and put your breather tube back on, which I've got to make a new one because mine was all deteriorated. And then this top guy, make sure this is plugged off. Now some of these carbs will have this, some of them will not. Like, see this carb does not have it, okay? So simply what that's for, this is for the speed limiter or the governor, okay? Which this one had at one time. This is part of it over here. And I'm gonna go over all that in another video, but you don't want anything hooked up to this. You want it capped off like that, so. And then your fuel line goes down here. And eventually take our, once I put the cover on, we're gonna put our new fuel line on here and clamp it. So let me finish up buttoning all this, but I just wanna show you guys a quick way to hook up the cables, and we'll be right back. All right, we got it all hooked up. Fuel system's primed. There's our new pump turning on. All right, so now that we got the fuel system all done, let's work on the air filtration system. I've got all the parts here laid out, and we'll start here. This took a couple days to come in, but I got a new intake boot. Now here's the old one, and you can all see there, split. There's the other split down here, all the cracks. So that's not good. Sucking lots of dirty air into that carburetor. You can actually see like how squishy it is. Real squishy. A lot of times they see these things when you get under full throttle, they actually collapse like this. They'll suck right down. So definitely spending the couple bucks to get a new one is definitely worth it. Pretty straightforward and easy. Just put your hose clamps back on it. And this is all a lot easier outside. And there's our back one. Goes on like that. So there we go. New intake boot. And then pretty much what you're just going to want to do is pull out your boxes. Here's the air filter box. And just clean it out real good. Get all the dirt. Get it nice and clean again. I'll show you one that's dirty. There's a dirty one. Look at that. Look at that dirt. So you definitely want to take them out and wash them. And there's same thing with the back cover. Get the cover all washed up nice. So no point in putting a new air filter in to a dirty box. So, but yeah, having this out, it's a lot easier. All you gotta do is take your inlet tube and your two breathers off, and this pops right out since we already took these bolts out earlier. I'm gonna just reassemble it. Put your new boot on. Stick your air filter in, cover, lock down, put it back in, you're good to go. All right, so there's the air box, and then this is your inlet breather, okay? This is up under the hood, and this is basically the pre-filter. 9 times out of 10, this is the foam that's in it, is either gone, not in here, or completely just deteriorated and just a mess. So get yourself a new pre-filter, and they're a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you just stuff them in. Like I said, they're a pain in the butt, but you just stuff them in, move it around. There you go, new pre-filter installed. And same thing, make sure you clean this box out really good. Sits up there. There's also a second one. This is the one on the right side of the machine, or the passenger side, is for the inlet for the air box. The left one, or on the driver's side of the machine, is the inlet pre-filter for the clutches. So you're going to want to, if you're doing this one, you might as well pull the one out for the clutches and get that one all clean. But all right, so just a little overview of all our components for the air system. So let me get these put back in and wrap this job up. And there we go. It's running pretty good. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. I hope you all got some good pointers and tricks to get your Ranger back up and going and get your fuel system working. I've got more videos coming up. One of the things I failed to mention is in the bottom of your carburetor, there's the idle mixture screw. You're gonna wanna make sure that's set to 2 turns out. So usually what I do is turn it in till it lightly seats and then back it out 2 turns. That will get you right in the ballpark for your air mixture. I've got videos on how to adjust and work on the carburetors themselves. So yeah, we got it running. So now next part's gonna be getting on the transmission and getting this thing moving. So until next time, I hope you all enjoyed this. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit that like, hit that share, and hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you all in the next one, right here on Polaris Nuts Garage.